What?
I said she'd be like, well, you're French woman, Mr. Director.
Well, motherfucker, I already started recording. So, hello, guys. Welcome to episode 3 of the Hate It or Love It podcast. As you guys can see, I have my first guest. This guy has became like one of my best friends, like pretty much really early at college. We're gonna get into that story. We're gonna get into a lot of damn stories, but yeah, like I said, he became one of my really best friends since college. Hell, even though we live in different states, we still find time to talk to each other. My first guest, Joshua Jones.
Hi.
Hi. So for the first or for damn, I'm saying for the first episode, but for this episode, we're gonna be talking about how we first met. We're gonna tell y'all a few of our college stories. Then we're going to get into the MCU. We're going to be ranking we're going to be ranking all the MCU projects, which me and him been talking, and we're trying to see who has the more controversial list. So we're going to see, because we be having some unpopular opinions all the time.
Oh man, I just threw mess in.
Huh?
I just threw mess. So it's going to be, no one's going to know where I'm going.
Oh my god. So yeah, leave in the comments who has the more controversial opinion. After that, we're gonna get into HBO Max and DC 10-year plan. After that, me and Josh made each other watch movies. He made me watch The Batman, and I made him watch Malignant. So we're gonna share our thoughts on that. And for the last two topics, we'll be talking about violence and R ratings for movies, and the last one is basically masterpieces, and Josh will explain when we get to that point in the episode. But enough talking. First topic, how we first met. So Jones, you want me to tell the story, or do you want to tell the story?
So I got like a little prelude to the story.
Okay.
Because the thing that I feel like you forget a lot, Tevin, is that we have met before we actually met. Because
what do you mean?
It was the day where it was like before any class started in this, and there was like at the hub, which is like the gaming, like they have like a lot of games there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Our one of our friends had knew your friend Al, and we were all you were walking with Al, and I was walking with my friend, and we were all walking together. And
Yeah,
I saw you just.
Didn't we go to that event near the church?
Yeah.
I was going to mention that.
Oh, but we didn't talk to each other. That's why I don't know if you count that as us meeting, because I was just, you were over there talking to your friend. I was talking to my friend. We were just walking in a group, but we never spoke a word.
To be specific, Al knew Braden because I think they were part of the same orientation group.
Yeah. And I just found it so funny because we didn't say a word to each other. But I remember because you were in your little bucket hat. I was like, they must all be filmmakers. I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't know none of these people.
What does bucket hats got to do with film majors? I was the only bucket hat wearing film major at Mason.
It looked like, you know how some directors have that, like have a look. It just looked like, yep, he must be one of those people that like make films.
Damn, I thought I stood out. Damn.
But you could tell how we actually met or started talking.
All right. So how now the first moment I remember we really like became friends. So at that event, I think it was me and Al, and we kind of became more closer to Michael at first. And I remember the day that me and you became friends, me and Al was bored on campus, and he hit up Michael to come over to the dorm. And when we got there, I think Michael left or something. He left for some reason. And then Al had to leave your room for like a quick second because his mom called him on the phone. And it was just me and you just sitting there. and I forget how the conversation started, but then our first discussion ever was, can guys and girls really be friends without, without one of them catching feelings?
Oh yeah, because I would, you know how I always start when I'm in an awkward spot. I just start, I got a question. And I was like, do you think guys and girls can be friends? And
And
it was like,
I was like, yeah, me and my friend Kirsten been friends for a minute. And I don't
because,
see her in that way.
yeah, because you know how I go. I start going on and on because I went, are you sure? Are you, or is it just the like polite thing? Or is it, and then I was like, do you have to actually like, oh, do you actually have to make a conscious effort or does it just happen? And then we went on and then we just started talking about everything,
And
life and all
you
that.
better talk about your lying ass trying to tell me that that one white girl was your sister. I
Oh,
was like, hell no, she wasn't.
because me and this friend in high school had we like because a lot of friends were trying to get with her. I wanted her to show she could have a friend who's a guy. I was like,
Mhm.
we'd be siblings, pretty much,
Oh my
because I see
god.
you like I see you like a sister. So then when I got to college, I tried spreading the lie that I had a twin sister who was white, and we didn't know that we were twins
You know
until
how far fetched that
recently.
you know how far
Hey,
fetched that lie is? Please
hey,
tell me someone did not believe it for real.
no, some people did believe it. Tevin, you know, I if I wanted to, and I'm not saying I will in case any legal presences are watching, but if I wanted to, I could start a cult. I already, because I tried. Remember that one night we tried it where
Hmm.
I was, I was, what was it? I was challenged or like it was a dare to see if I put on social media, hey, I'm starting a cult. Who wants to join? I got so many people saying, yeah, I'll join.
Wait,
Might as well.
didn't I do make you do that on Uno Dare or something?
Yes, we were
Oh my
playing Uno
god.
Dare, and you told me start for your social media. You start a cult. I got so many people. I'm like, if I really wanted to, I could get a cult.
No, because so Josh, he could be a cult leader because he has a way with words. He can make people, like, even people that don't like doing something, he can find a way to talk them into something. I told Josh that he'll be the leader and I'll kind of be like the sponsor.
But see how we are. We never just stay at one tier. We start getting big plans,
Mhm.
and the big plan was once we start this franchise of a cult, then we got to start another one on the West Coast because we can't just have an East Coast cult. And then we were talking how we
Oh
got to
my
have them
god.
all down the East Coast, they're all down the West, but we don't know about touching the Midwest because you know who lives out in the Midwest.
Right. Oh wait, Josh. So my computer just told me that we only have 10 more minutes of this meeting left. So I'll let you know when the time is about to run out. We could just pick
Okay.
back up from there. So damn, I am gonna have to do some editing with this shit. But
We do
yeah,
not.
Josh works for the feds.
Hey, I do not work. Hey, me and the federal government are not
He works with
affiliate.
6ix9ine. He is a federal informant.
But uh,
I'm actually surprised I got Josh on here. He's part of the
it,
witness protection.
yeah, oh my gosh. But
But yeah, basically, me and Josh could be anything we put our minds to.
yeah,
So can
we're
you,
very
kids.
we're very ambitious. What
Shoot.
was oh another college story we have? I guess we could tell the cops one where
Oh yeah. So mom, dad, you're about to hear a story that you never heard before because I didn't want to tell you this one. Um, so Josh lived at for anybody that watches that goes to George Mason, Josh lived at Taylor Hall, and wasn't it like the first year that people were allowed to live there?
yeah.
Yeah, so in Taylor Hall, they have like these phones on the walls and whatever, just in case of emergencies. And I would always do like this little like joke or whatever where I would pick up the phone and I would be like, yeah, this person is wearing this jacket, this color. Like I would always describe who's near me just as a joke. Now, when our friend Riley started going to school at Mason, this was like second semester of freshman year. This was the first time I did the joke in front of him. He actually came up to the phone while I was holding it and pressed one of the buttons, and he pressed like a random button, and it went straight to Mason Police Station. And next thing you know, you just hear a voice on the phone. Like I don't know if it's when you picked it up. It was like a voice on the phone, like "hello, hello," and I think you picked it up, and you were like, I think you made a face when you picked it up, and then
Or
Liz was your
no, oh yeah, because we called and then my RA came.
yeah, I was about to say Liz came up and she answered and she was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like just a couple of kids was messing around with the phone." And we thought, things was gonna die down. Like she just told us to go back to our dorm and we thought everything was gonna be chilling. Next thing you know, me and Riley, like I think like an hour later, get a knock on our door. First off, they came to Josh's dorm first, but I'm gonna tell my part of the story. We're gonna do like a little mystery aspect to the story. So they knocked on my door first, and they started asking me and Riley a bunch of questions. Now Black people, we don't talk to cops. I would just sit in there, like I would just give them the basic stuff. What's your name? Tevin. Last name Powell. Like I wasn't answering nothing. Riley basically did all the talking, and the cops was trying to be intimidating because I'm not trying to sound racist. Like I'm not trying to sound stereotypical, but one of them was a white bald guy. And do you remember what the other one was, Josh?
He had glasses and he was like, I think he was black.
Yeah. All we know is, one was white, one was not. And the reason I bring up the white one is because I don't know if this was a little racist. I don't know if they were trying to imply something, but the cop that was talking to us, the other cop, he pointed to the white cop and he was like, "You guys are lucky that I'm here tonight because if it was his night, y'all would be in the back of the cruiser." And for some reason, the white cop really had to restate that. He was like, "Oh yeah, yeah. If it was my night, you guys would have already been in the cruiser. You would have been sitting in Mason County Police Station or something like that."
Oh my
I was
gosh.
I was like, okay. So after that, they left the room. And then it wasn't until the next day that we met back up with you that you told us your side of the story where they actually came to your dorm
Yeah,
first.
yeah, they came and they were like, they started asking me all those questions. They were like, "What's your name? So what happened here?" And then he was like, "That's a very dangerous thing. We could be out answering any number of calls, and instead we're coming here to talk to you." And I went, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And they were like, "Yeah, you should be, because if it was his night, you would be in the cruiser." And I went, "Cause see, I'm gonna admit, I was not as brave as Tevin. I was shaking. Because Tevin had his roommate right there. My roommate was asleep. I was standing there, opening the door, shaking, and they over there both looking down on me because I'm not that tall, and, and they were like, "You better be glad that it's not his night tonight." I was like, "I'm sorry, it won't happen again, sir."
See, Josh was scared of that cruiser. I didn't give a fuck about that cruiser.
Yeah, I'm scared of the cruiser. I don't do no trouble. I don't cause no trouble. I stay on that line.
See, Josh was a little good boy. Now,
it, it,
you guys are probably wondering when we picked up that phone, we didn't give them no information. We didn't tell them nothing. We didn't say names or anything like that. So you guys are probably wondering, how did the cops know where Josh's dorm was and how did they know where our dorm was? Now, I'm not going to say any names, but they know who they are that told the cops. The snitch know who they are. It's okay. I'm cool with the snitch. They know
oh
they're
my gosh.
they know they're a
No,
snitch, but the
no.
snitch knows who they are.
Hey, I'll ride on us too. I ain't doing none of that mess.
So you justify? See, this is why I said he's an informant.
Hey, I'm just
He
saying.
knows he's friends with 6ix9ine.
Hey, no, all I'm saying is we we obey the law because we ain't getting shot out here.
Okay, you right. We were in Virginia. Them motherfuckers would have shot us real quick. All right, y'all. So I know this is very annoying. I didn't know that Zoom you actually had to pay to make the rooms longer. So yeah, sadly, just like every other episode so far, we're gonna have to cut it into parts, and then I'm gonna have to put them together. Like, yeah. So if we pause and then we come back, that's exactly why. But all right, enough of that. Let's get back to the stories. Now, the second story we wanted to tell y'all was about this game we used to play called Dutch Blitz. That's the full name.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were obsessed in that game during junior year. Like, it doesn't matter what was going on. Okay, I'm not gonna name her name, but Demon, I was dating a demon at the time, and she could be yelling at me, she could be getting mad at me. I'm still just focused on Blitz. Our roommates could be arguing with each other or getting loud with each other. We'll still be focused on Blitz. The
I
world could,
argued. I had arguments during Blitz. We didn't care.
but we used to trash talk like crazy with each other during Blitz.
But the story that comes to mind when we would play this game, because it's a simple game. You just put you start off and you're trying to clear the cards in front of you, and each card goes up to 10. So you pretty much have to whatever number you have on top, you have to put it till you make that pile up to 10. Then you can't use that pile anymore. So we would just set it out on the table and start shuffling up and start playing. And one day there was a bomb threat at our
Like we all
Center.
got alerts on our phone during the middle of the game. Mason students, attention, there is a bomb threat at the Johnson Center. And the Johnson Center is like the main building in the middle of campus. And we just looked at the alert and we were like, oh, there's a bomb threat. All right, y'all, let's play.
And we kept playing. We were like, man, hope they don't find a bomb in there as we're passing the cards out.
Shoot, I hope they don't find a bomb. Blitz.
Because I used to always wonder like how older people like at cookouts and stuff could be playing spades or some of those old card games. I felt like that when Tevin wake up early in the morning, knock on the door, be like, I don't got class for a while. I want to play a game of Blitz. And I'll be like, okay, let me, might as well.
I remember when we first started playing, I would always have those explanations like, I ain't got class, or Demon is asleep. So, I mean, Blitz. After a while, it just became Blitz. Like, I didn't even have to say the whole thing.
You know, we were obsessed because we had a board on the wall with all our names and our amount of wins.
You know, I still have that board.
Really?
Yeah, and okay, it dried. The marker dried up so much I can't even erase it. So like, whatever stats we had at that moment is still there.
Darn.
I'm never throwing out that board. That board is like memories.
But that's at college. That was the main thing we got from college. We made our own fun. Because remember when we were real bored, we would find that we had a bunch of like loose coins and pennies. We would just turn on a game of like we would put on Naruto. Yeah,
and let the computers fight. And we would be like, all right, man, I'm putting my money in on soccer.
We started betting with the characters, see who would win. And that was the thing that killed me. You could never tell. Like, it didn't matter like what character they were. You couldn't tell who would win that bitch.
Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, you would think if they're making a game on Naruto, they would take into account like events from the show, like how strong characters are. No, when them computers are fighting, you don't know who's gonna win because young Sakura could beat the shit out of Itachi. That should not be happening. And it'll happen.
That's why I have to have my money with the characters that look lame or seem lame because they
Well,
were the ones.
you naturally go for the underdogs anyway.
Yeah,
Josh is
I,
a very underdog story type of guy.
I love underdogs. But
Shoot.
I guess we can get into the
The Marvel stuff.
yeah, MCU.
All right. So you guys, if you watched the first episode, and yes, I'm gonna make you watch the first episode. You guys already know my opinions if you watched that episode. If you didn't, go watch it now. But if you guys watched that episode, you know my thoughts on phase four. So for this, I just want to know Josh's thoughts.
Okay. So my thoughts on phase four is different from most because I actually think phase four is doing pretty well. I just think the problem that a lot of fans are having right now, and I feel like a lot don't realize or remember, is that you have we're starting back over
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people, like I was there watching the Marvel stuff in the beginning, like when Incredible Hulk and Iron Man came out, I was watching them when
And
they came out.
sorry to cut you off, but people fail to realize those early movies came out when we were like in elementary school, and
Yeah,
Endgame didn't come out until we were adults. So
yeah,
literally, that thing's been going on for almost our
like
whole lives.
literally, me and some of my friends and stuff, we would be we would talk every morning before school and talk and during lunch from elementary, middle, high school. We talked about it every time something new came up. But it was a lot of waiting, a lot of seeing the plans unravel and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people nowadays came in during Black Panther and Civil War when the Marvel was already up and running. So they are used to like the story already being out there because by Age of Ultron, people knew the story that was happening. And that was phase two.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're in phase four. We're back at the beginning of them setting up stuff, and people are still in that in-game mindset of like, when's everything going to happen? Where's the story set up? But they forget phase one where everything was set up. Like I love to remind people that they think that Marvel, like man, Marvel's falling down because some of their stuff aren't hits. If they remember, phase two was when Marvel didn't have hits.
Definitely. I wasn't even a Marvel fan, and I would hear so many people complain about phase two. There was actually one point where I heard people say Age of Ultron was bad.
Yeah, because Iron Man 3 came out, or no, it was Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Thor Dark World, Age of Ultron. People did not like those films.
Mm-hmm.
And those were like four in a row. And no one was, people were just like, I guess we just gotta be patient. We gotta be patient. But those were worse. I think some of those were worse than what we have currently.
Oh,
It's just
Iron Man
people
2 is
are,
definitely worse than. Well, wait. I think you like Iron Man 2 a lot more than most people.
yeah, well, see, that's the thing that I find kind of funny. I like, I like Iron Man 2 for certain scenes.
Is it
Like,
is it is one of those scenes that guy dancing on stage?
no, one of them is, when he's on the raceway and he like puts the thing on his chest, the
All right,
suit,
that was pretty fire. I
and
actually
then
like that suit a lot.
when War Machine, him and War Machine back to back fighting, like the fight scene at the end.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I skipped most of the movie just to watch those two scenes, watch those things, because
Oh
the rest of
God.
the movie kind of boring. But there
Okay, but
are
what
some
about
good
when Black
scenes.
Widow was beating up that whole hallway of people? That was actually nice to me.
Yeah, yeah, that was okay. I think, well, some were funny. Like some were darker when you rewatch the movie. Like there was that one scene where uh Iron Man's like showing how people were trying to recreate the Iron Man technology,
Mm-hmm.
and it's showing like he's making light of it, but showing all these people like paralyzing themselves and killing themselves trying to test these Iron Man suits.
Oh
Like
my.
what? Like one was, it was like, okay, now see if you can twist around, and he twists all the way around and breaks his spine. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to remember. Honestly, that movie is kind of forgettable to me. Besides the action scenes, like it's really forgettable.
But I think that's the main thing. Is like people don't want to do it. It's kind of like I tell people, would you want to repeat your school years all over again, start from the beginning again? Most people say no. And I feel like that's the same way with the Marvel Universe. We're at the beginning again. We're starring a new story, the new multiverse saga, setting everything up. People
But
don't want
you
to
you
go
want to know the
through
thing
that.
that kills me the most, and I mean I said this in the first episode, but I just can't get it out of my head. I've seen so many people like complain like, "Oh, we don't know where the story is going," but then they'll point out how, "Oh, Kang is in this, and we're seeing multiverse, so it got to be the multiverse saga. They got to be setting up for Secret Wars." So it's like, how are you complaining that you don't know where the story is going, but you're literally telling, like, you already are basically telling us where the story is going.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think not just Marvel fans, movie fans are so privileged today. Because back in, like, I feel like in middle school and even in like elementary school, even like when I was younger, you a lot of the times you didn't know what it was like the synopsis of movie. Like nowadays, people know everything about movie, who's in the movie, what the movie's about, what future movies are about setting up.
That's like
Like I
that's
remember,
like that Barbie movie that's supposed to be coming out soon. Like every day on Twitter, there's new pictures and stuff
yeah,
behind the scenes coming out.
because I remember like when Iron Man came out, we didn't know what was going on with Iron Man. You heard who played Iron Man, but you didn't really know the story, nothing. And it
Mhm.
just happened. Like you didn't know what was going to go on with Avengers. You just knew Avengers was coming. You didn't know who the villain was really. You didn't know what would be happening. And even with like other movies, like Lord of the Rings, you didn't know what would be going on. The old Star Wars movies, they didn't know was happening. It just
I partly feel like the internet is kind of to blame for that
yeah,
because leaks and stuff like that always be coming out.
yeah. It used to be like I remember when I went to go watch Avengers in theaters, there was not really any spoilers. When Endgame came, I couldn't be on the internet because people it wasn't just like, and that's the thing that kind of is crazy. It wasn't just people in like fans, like people who went to watch it the night of that were spoiling. It was like people who went for critics or like the big premieres or something.
Bruh,
They
I
were
remember
spoiling it.
I remember like when Infinity War came out, and this is part of the reason why I kind of wanted to see it. Like people I went to high school with that like never showed interest in comics or anything like that, never showed interest in superheroes, was sitting here saying Infinity War 10 out of 10. Infinity War is an amazing movie. Like it got to a point where even people that don't even really like it are watching it just because that's what
Yeah.
everybody's going to watch.
But see, that's one of the things that I feel like isn't as well known. Like people like it makes it a lot. I always tell people that the la- the louder people doesn't mean that that's the majority because there'd be a lot of loud people saying, "Oh man, Phase 4 is deteriorating. Marvel Phase 4 isn't that good. Their quality's going down." But that's the hardcore Marvel fans because a lot of people who are casual fans who go and watch the movies and stuff, they like it.
Mhm.
Like, and that's what I was surprised about. Like, I went and took my sister to go see Thor: Love and Thunder. And a lot of people didn't like it who were Marvel fans. But then people I talked, like I saw at the theater and stuff, people loved that movie who were casuals. And you know who the casuals are because when we were sitting there, when the movie ended, they all got up and started leaving. And I was like,
Yeah.
and then you know who, because I always say there's three tiers of Marvel fans. There's the casuals who go because the Marvel movie, like the superhero movie right now, is the fad. They
Mhm.
don't see any of the credit scenes. Then there's the casual fan who thinks that they are a hardcore Marvel fan. They see the mid-credit scene and then think it's over and leave. Then there's the hardcore Marvel fan who's already researched ahead of time, knowing that there's going to be two end credit scenes.
Bro,
Probably know
that
what the end credit scenes are.
I
And
feel like
it's
my
just
cousin.
sitting
I feel like my cousin Sonir. We always go to movies like
there.
every Tuesday. He would be the mid person if I wasn't there, because like he sees the mid credit scene and he'd be ready. And I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, what are you doing? There's one more scene. He's like, there's another one. What time is it?
See?
Like he always does that. Like he's always ready to go. And
And
actually,
see,
you know, and Josh, I just want to say, like, it's crazy because even now, I feel like Marvel set like a whole trend. I don't know if you noticed it, but for like whenever I go to the movies out here, even movies that we know don't have end credit scene, like people will sit through
yeah.
just like when I saw Nope, both times people were still sitting there, even though the lights was on and the credits was rolling. And I'm like, Jordan Peele movies aren't gonna have after credit scenes. Like, what are y'all
And,
sitting here for?
and see, I will say that's one of the bad things about Marvel. Is like trained us because there's more Marvel movies in a year than any other type of movie. So it's pretty much training you to be like, yeah, you gotta sit there till the lights come on because there might be a end credit or credit scene. And it doesn't help that more movies are doing end credit scenes or mid credit scenes and stuff.
And the only trend I don't like is now everybody feels like clapping during movies where it doesn't even need to like I remember I was watching Sonic 2. Did you see
You,
it yet?
no, I didn't see the second song.
Do you care about spoilers?
No.
Okay, it's the part where he finally goes supersonic, and and like nobody was clapping the whole movie. Like there was, so if you watch Sonic 2, then there's like hella references to the games and stuff. There was so many references to the games and like everything. Nobody was clapping, nobody was talking. But as soon as he went supersonic, like you would have thought it with the scene in Endgame when all the heroes came out. I was like, we in a Marvel
uh,
movie now? Sonic will return in Kang Dynasty. That's what I was waiting for.
Tevin, that's how it be with every movie. What was one movie I went to see? Oh man, I forgot because every time there's a movie, that's why I be expected. Like it'd be like just watching Malignant. I was expecting it to be like Malignant will return in Malignant 2.
They did basically set up that sequel. Her twin will come back and Malignant. I ain't never seen. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save my opinion for that. But do you have any more thoughts about Phase 4 before we get to our ranking?
I will say that the thing that surprised me though is I think though I do think fans have affected Phase 4 because I feel like Phase 4 was supposed to be longer than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way Phase 4 is now, they're ending with Black Panther and then going to Phase 5. And then they're going to have Phase 5 and 6 in a 2-year span. When with us, over 10 years, we had 3 phases. We're going to have 3 phases in like 5 years.
Because the Marvel fans, they need their team up movies, they need their big cameos. I still can't get over like Tom Cruise playing Iron Man. I never believed that. And fans really went into Doctor Strange believing that.
Yeah, and I think that's also part of the thing. It's like fans are very like dominating in what they want nowadays. I think it's because the internet. It used to not be like that. Where like I've never seen nowadays where fans, if they don't like something or something before the movie, they can demand it and actually get it changed. Like the Sonic, like Sonic with teeth. Even
I feel like that. Okay, I feel like that was a good example of fans doing their work. Because like if that was the Sonic design, I would have been sitting there the whole movie like this motherfucker ugly as shit. Like,
though you want to know the funniest thing? Did you watch that Chip and Dale movie?
I know that Sonic was or ugly Sonic was in it.
Yes, that was too funny. They were like, because the whole time they just kept staring at his teeth.
Yeah. No, you want to know the part. I didn't finish the movie, but you want to know the part that had me dead. And I feel like even if I watch the rest of the movie, it's still gonna be like the funniest part to me. Remember when their friend first came up missing, and the cop first came to the house, and one of them was talking to him like, "Oh, like, I forget which one it was. Like, oh, I'm Dale from the '90s show." And it kept zooming in on the cop's face, like as he was just looking so serious. I was like, yo, why did they do that? Yo, this movie is just goofy as hell.
Ooh, well, that reminded me of when we were playing the Walking Dead game. And someone saying something, you just stand there.
Hey, silence is a valid option.
I know, but that was because we'd be talking in the middle of the game, and they'd be waiting for our response, and we over here talking, then we end up not pressing it in time, and then and they're like, okay.
No, I was watching a compilation before, like a few weeks ago. It was like a silence is a valid option compilation. And it showed like all the times, like throughout the whole game, where if you just stay silent, like even Clementine would be like, "What's wrong with you?" Okay. No, but the part that kills me is they say silence is a valid option, but there's parts where people will kill you for being silent. Like,
You
I'm like,
know,
wait, what?
the part I've we'll get back on topic to the MCU, but I just gotta say this one part because it was so funny because me and Tevin played through it once.
Mm.
And we were playing through the first season, and we kept having alternating decisions with Lily. And, and I chose not to crush her dad's head. And that bitch was too funny because the whole time Kenny's yelling at you like, darling,
And then he comes out of nowhere.
you can't, yeah. He's like, you can't, and you hear him struggling in the back, and then you just, all of a sudden, you're like, I almost got him back to life, and then you just see his head go to black.
Mm.
It's just so funny. Oh
No,
my
because
gosh.
when okay, I'll say this last thing, then we got to get to our rankings. But so me and Josh, when we were playing Walking Dead, we would switch the remote with each decision. So like he makes one decision, then the very next decision he would give the remote to me. He was always doing the more peaceful thing, while I was always doing the more violent thing. Like I think there was one part where you get to choose. I feel like it was like when Lee was in the woods or something and he saw like a random woman or somebody. He saw
Oh
like a
yeah.
random person and you had a choice on whether to shoot her or not. And Josh is in my ear like, Tevin, don't do that.
Oh
I
yeah.
really I
No,
really felt like we were there because you were like, Tevin, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, you know what, Jones? I'ma do it.
no, because we would seem like I felt bad because we seemed like the most bipolar lead. Because it'd be like, do you raise your gun at her? And it'd be my decision. So I'm like, no. And I put the gun down. And then it's like, and then it'd be your turn. It's like, do you shoot her? And then you'd be like, yeah. And then you aim the gun back. And it was like, no. You changed his mind that fast.
Yo, I would love to see us play a game like Until Dawn or The Quarry, like because
Oh
those
my
games are
gosh.
more serious, or I should say the decisions are more serious in those games. So
Oh, I know. I know. There'll be times when I'm petty and times when you're petty. And then we have
bro,
like one person survive.
we would probably end with everybody dying. Yo, actually,
Oh
yeah, we
man.
shouldn't play those games because I'd be trying to keep everyone alive. Yo, my first playthrough of Until Dawn, I was trying to keep everyone alive, and one of my characters died over the most stupid, one of the most stupid things. Yo, I was so mad. But all right, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
All right, this is what we do. Me and Josh would like talk about one thing, and then we'll go into a whole nother thing. But all right, so we're gonna get into our Marvel rankings, and we're gonna actually rank everything Marvel. Not like the early ABC shows, but we're like ranking the MCU movies and then the Disney Plus MCU shows. So the way we're gonna do this, just so we don't spend too much time on our list, since there's a lot of properties, we're gonna say, like, for example, number 39. I'll say mine, he'll say his, and we'll give our comments, and then we'll go on to the next thing. So, Josh, you ready?
Yeah. We're starting from the worst.
Yeah. So number
Okay.
39, I got Loki.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, and like I said, guys, let me know who has the more controversial list.
So for mine, I have the Incredible Hulk.
Damn, man, my boy, yo, y'all be disrespecting my boy, Incredible Hulk.
So a quick little thing of why I chose that as the worst is just because of all the Marvel things, it feels the most out of place. Because technically it was the first Marvel movie, but people, it didn't make as like it didn't make as big of a thing as Iron Man. Like it felt like they
I
were still trying to get themselves together.
I thought you were gonna say, because I seen videos where like Ed Norton, he was the guy that played the original Hulk, right? Yeah, so I kept seeing videos where Ed Norton and apparently Marvel Studios was like beefing with each other on how the movie was supposed to be. And I think the final result was more of what Marvel wanted. And Ed Norton
Yeah,
got like his own version. So I thought you were gonna bring up like that, why it was different.
well, it just felt because it felt weird because I don't know, like when I watched the movie, there were a lot of like weird, awkward pauses because I felt like because he wanted it to be more serious and then Marvel wanted it to like have its normal Marvel tone. So it kind of became a mix of like there'd be periods where it's real quiet and somber and serious. And then there's like awkward parts where like the one like female love interest in that movie is like screaming for no reason. Like she's yelling at him. Is like supposed to be a calm scene, and she's like, "What are you talking about? I love you." It's like, whoa,
Hey,
calm
I
down.
gotta say, yo, Hulk had a baddie in that movie.
Oh
Like,
my
no
gosh.
disrespect to Scarlett Johansson, but he had a baddie in that movie.
Oh,
But
no.
I'll say like for that movie, I kind of wanted to see a more serious Hulk. So I kind of wish we did get the Edward Norton version. Cause like I remember the early Hulk movie that came out in like the early 2000s, and that one was kind of goofy.
I
I,
do. I never
I haven't
watched
seen
that
that.
one.
I haven't seen that one in so long, but me remembering it, like me remembering some of it, it was like very goofy. So I wouldn't have minded a more serious one. Which, oh yeah, I never said my reason for having Loki at the bottom. Simply because I don't like Loki. I don't like him.
Lord.
Yeah, I know everybody tells me to watch the show, but I'm like, no, because when I don't like somebody or I don't like something, I'm not like I already know I don't like it. So why am I gonna watch a whole thing or listen or like even when I listen to music, why would I listen to an artist I know I'm not gonna like? Like I'm not gonna go out my way to torture myself.
Well,
So
see, I feel like that's kind of biased because it's like the
yes, it is
series was
bias.
interesting.
That's the whole point of it. It is bias.
The
If I know I'm
series
not
was
gonna
still
like Loki,
interesting.
I'm not gonna sit through it.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I'm gonna do the typical YouTube thing. Guys, give me the 10,000 likes and I'll watch Loki. 10,000 likes and 5,000 comments and I'll watch Loki
oh
tonight.
my, oh my gosh.
But
Well,
yes, it is very biased. I just don't like Loki.
well, the next movie I chose was Thor: Dark World.
Oh yeah, so me and you are both on the same page with that one. Because
That
Thor
movie,
Dark World, that movie was just boring to me.
yeah, it was. Oh man,
The thing was a
like
sleeper.
it had one scene where the the hammer was just trying to find Thor,
Hmm.
and that mess went on so long. It was like, come on now, I'm getting tired. Get you just hurry it up, fight the villain. I can't even remember the villain. The thing that gets me is the rest of the movies, like in phase 3, make Thor Dark World seem so important. So it makes me like, darn, maybe I should like this a little more. And then I try watching, I'm like, yep, that's not
Hey,
good.
just because something's important doesn't mean it was good. Shoot,
But
that movie was just boring as hell.
oh,
Oh, a real sleeper is my next pick, which oh dang. So maybe actually I was wrong. Loki. Oh, now that I'm looking at my iPhone, did the whole numbering all messed up.
Oh,
So there's not even 39 stuff in here. My phone just got it messed up. So screw the numbers. Y'all can do the numbers yourselves. But the next thing on my list is Moon Knight, which that is actually a real sleeper. Like
oh my
every
gosh.
episode, I was knocked out. I could not sit through an episode without falling asleep.
Interesting. Because see,
But
for Moon Knight, for me, I had it higher, and I'll let you know when we get there. But I kind of like Moon Knight. Like I like the first few episodes because the anticipation of it. Like I love episodes that have like tension and like kind of like a mystery of like you trying to piece together what happened.
mhm.
But then the thing that got Moon Knight lower for me that I didn't like was they didn't really lead anywhere. Like it was very anticlimactic. And like and then the end, like the last two episodes were so rushed. And then it started doing this thing where it tried to make you like it made you wonder, is this real? Is what you're watching, is it real or what's real and what's not? And then it got to a point where I was like, do I even care what's real and what's not in this show?
Bro,
Or should I move?
this show was on some YNW Melly shit where like it was like different personalities fight with each other, and then at the very end there's a third personality, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm signed out. I'm doing.
Though I did feel bad for him because everybody was like, oh yeah, I love Steven, his other personality. I'm like, darn, I feel bad for him, the main one. Because I was telling my brother, I was like, he he didn't even get his ex-wife got all mad at him because the dad died when he was with him. She was like, you led the mercenary to him. The mercenary killed him too. What was he supposed to do? He said he tried fighting them off. What was he supposed to do? He died. He died twice. How are you mad at him?
Oh man, I
He
might have
tr-
fell asleep when that shit happened. No, I'm being serious, yo. I told Josh before we even did this podcast, like if somebody ever wanted to abduct me, like just play Moon Knight and I'm out like a light. I'm out
oh
like
my
nothing.
gosh.
Ladies, if you ever want to kidnap me or whatever, just play an episode of Moon Knight. Forget
Oh
the
my
drugs.
gosh.
Forget the drugs, forget the drinks. Just turn on Moon Knight and I'm out. That's all you need to
Oh
do.
my goodness. Please
Moon
don't get kidnapped because someone played Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, 1 out of 10. Screw it.
All I can picture is the police coming in and being like, so, be like with a cigarette, what we got? Well, looks like it wasn't 4th century. Someone just snuck in the house, turned to a Moon Knight. That's all.
Moon. Oh God. This is a sick, twisted bastard. Where did she play his body? We found it in the river, sir. Damn. He died because of Moon Knight.
Must be the 5th time this month.
Moon Knight is really collecting bodies, sir. Kevin
Be
Feige
like,
forced to cancel the show because 10
no.
people died.
Why'd you have like a warning? Be like, do not watch this movie before 9 o'clock at night.
Do not watch this around anybody. You
Yeah.
might get
You,
abducted.
but
Oh yeah,
um,
so what's your pick?
I had Age of Ultron.
I kind of like Age of Ultron a little bit more than most
Well,
people.
see, the thing is, I like with the lower tier movies. There's parts of the movie or show I like Age of Ultron. Of course, Captain America is my favorite character in all the Civil War, or not all the
Mhm.
Civil War, all the MCU. So I love his parts. But then it's like I've never been a fan of Vision. So the whole Vision stuff was weird. And then there was like a Thor part where he's like in the pool having a vision of like the Infinity Stones and stuff. That was boring to me. Them fighting over whether to bring Vision alive or not. That was like boring. And then they had this whole climactic, like, oh, who's going to die? Is Hawkeye going to die and get shot? is, and then they just killed Quicksilver. I was like, oh my gosh, I figured that out. Like the beginning of the movie, I know they ain't killing Hawkeye, and they made Hawkeye so overpowered in that movie just because they felt bad what they did to him in Avengers. They were like, yeah, he can't be mind controlled, man.
You know,
He's
I think the thing with why I might have a slight appreciation for Age of Ultron more than most people is, I mean, this ain't really a good reason to like an Avengers movie because you're expecting like a bunch of action and stuff in an Avengers movie. But I kind of liked just seeing them chill with each other. Like people hate those
okay.
scenes, but I was fine like seeing them try to lift Thor's hammer. Like it's cool seeing
Yeah.
heroes be normal people with each other.
Well, I will say that is my favorite part of like Marvel movies. I love when you can just see them be normal sometimes, like
Yeah.
what they do when they're off time.
Now,
But
don't get me wrong. Like that movie probably is my least. Wait, yeah, my least favorite out of all the Avengers movies. So yeah, I mean, I get why people don't like it as much, but I have a little bit more of appreciation for it than others.
and then my next one is Hawkeye. I'll make this one quick. I didn't. The reason why it's slow is because I didn't know what the who the villain was, like till the very end, and I felt like when they put in the villain, it felt like fan service because it didn't even make sense. Like I felt like you could have had a way different story if you like kept the mom as the villain instead of trying to redeem her. She would,
Yeah.
she. I felt like it would have been more meaningful if, and like they hyped the dad's death up like there was some mystery behind it or something. The dude just died. It was actually an accident. Like I was sitting there the whole show, like, oh, did the mom kill him because he wasn't making enough money? Did Kingpin arrange his death or something? No, he just did. He just went out downstairs, accidentally died. It just happened.
Yeah, he just died. So,
Yeah.
well, oh, were you about to say something else?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, I gotta say this, and then we gotta start another one. But I was just gonna say, well, Josh already knows this. I don't hate Hawkeye like that. Like I know a lot of fans that complain about Hawkeye. Like it's not like no deep reason why I like the show, but I just found the show like very enjoyable. It was a lot more funnier to me than like other Marvel shows. And actually, to be honest, I'm just gonna say this now. I feel like most Marvel shows don't deserve to be like shows. Like I feel like even shows that I do like Hawkeye and Miss Marvel could have just been movies. So I just feel like out of most of the Marvel shows, this was the one that kept my attention the most, just because I feel like this movie or this show made me care about Hawkeye more. And also, Kate Bishop wasn't too bad of a character. And no, Josh, it's not because Haley Steinfeld plays her. It's not because of that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna pick up when I start the new meeting. All right, y'all. So, okay, why I said the whole Haley Steinfeld thing is Josh believes that I only like the show because Haley Steinfeld looks good, which yes, she does. But Josh, there's a lot of stuff where girls look good, and it was horrible.
All I'm saying, Tevin, is she had a lot of screen time, and it. I'm just saying because the show, this, like when we talked about it, you didn't remember a lot of the things that happened, but you remembered Haley Steinfeld. So
I
I'm just
do
saying.
remember. Okay. And that's just because, like I said, when with these Marvel shows, I really only remember the main things to remember. Like I feel like the shows is a lot of filler in it. So I mean, yes, I'm going to remember the important stuff.
And I will say the one thing that got me mad about the show is people who be asking, like when they show the little billboard sign of like Avengers the musical, and they were like, yeah, we want to see that musical. I realized I do not want to see that musical
Oh, I thought
because,
you would, since I know you're like a musical
well,
or
I
like
do,
game type
but
person.
I watched that. Did you see the end credit scene?
I'm okay. That is one thing I will say I'm mad about Hawkeye for. Like they wasted an end credit scene on that.
Because I realized like it was. I feel like if you know you're going in for a musical, it would be good as a musical. So I would want to watch it if I was like, oh, they have an Avengers musical. I want to see that if I know I'm going and watch a musical. But if you're sitting there
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm waiting for end credits scene, something interesting, and then they show a musical sequence, it's like, darn, I did not wait this whole time to see that musical sequence. Especially, it would have made it better if I didn't already see part of that song. But I saw part of that song already because they showed it. Though I will say that song was kind of catchy. It was like, we can do this all day.
Like
That
it
was,
wasn't a bad song, but it's like I would have wanted that to be like a Disney Plus extra scene or something like that. Like, why'd you make a whole end credit scene with that? They could have been setting up more with that end credit scene.
but
That's just like with the Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness when where the guy was done like being
yeah,
tortured. Like, why?
yeah, that we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Even though I do like Multiverse of Madness, but my next pick is. Did I already say Iron Man 2?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so yeah, my next pick is Iron Man 2.
Okay, interesting. I have Iron Man 2 a little higher.
I mean, I already kind of said my reason earlier.
Mm,
It was kind of boring and forgettable besides like a few action scenes. So,
yeah, I agree with that. There were some scenes I like. I like the movie a little bit more just because it had some fun things, like very iconic, like uh they at the diner and both their. Oh wait, no, that's Iron Man 3. Oh no, when they fought each other.
who Iron
Uh,
Man and War Machine?
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was
great.
I like that. Like Iron Man 2 is that movie where it's not great, but at least it has great moments in it.
Yeah. Now, here's where some controversy will come up.
And actually, also, this is where my iPhone stops messing up. So 33-1, this will finally be correct. So
Oh,
we can start saying numbers again. So your 33rd
okay.
pick is
Doctor Strange.
the first one.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Because
I
honestly,
actually liked it.
well, see, here's my biggest criticism. I don't think Doctor Strange is good in a movie by himself. I I think in some movies, some people are good side characters and some people are good main characters. Doctor Strange is not a good main character. He's a good side character. Because I realized we're watching this movie, I did not care about Doctor Strange at all. I didn't want to see none of his mess. That movie bored me because I thought the visuals were cool and stuff, but his story and him as a main character just was not very interesting to me.
Look, I'll give you this because I
Mm,
do like Doctor Strange, or at least I do like the first one. Or I like all of his movies, but
it-
like I like the first one, but I will give you this. I do feel like he was in better. I feel like he was better in other movies, and then also he wasn't high on my list for stuff I cared about in this movie and why I liked it, but he was decent. Like
oh my
you know,
gosh.
really, it's really because of the side characters that I like this movie. Really,
Yeah, because Wong's really a really interesting character.
yeah, one, and then who was the one that teaching the wise one or something like that?
Uh,
What they call her?
I think it was like the ancient one or something.
Yeah, the ancient one. Like the side characters, yeah, they were more
Eh,
interesting than him, but at least he still was pretty decent. Like at least it's a lead where I can't say like, oh, he was as bad as the lead.
yeah. So my next movie, this is going to confirm
Oh
my
wait,
theory.
I didn't say
Of,
my 33rd yet.
oh wait, because my Doctor Strange was mentioning your last one.
Okay. So yeah, all right. So that was his
Mm,
34th. My
yeah,
33rd is Thor, the first Thor movie, which I feel like the first Thor movie kind of went down for me over time because I remember when I first saw it, I told you that I liked it a lot more than
mm,
other people gave it credit for, and I feel like over time, I kind of look back at the movie kind of like how I do with Iron Man 2. It was just slightly more enjoyable for me, but it really is just mostly kind of a forgettable movie. Like I can't say I was bored, but it was very forgettable.